Can you please call the roll?
President Thompson,
Present.
Vice President Kazi, Member Gresham,
Here.
Here.
Member Hunt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Holcomb, seconded by Mr. Hunt. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Dr. Guerin, can you lead us in the pledge? Thank you. I don't believe there's any need for an executive session. Hearing none. Next item on the agenda is communications and announcements. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. Tonight we get to highlight the incredible work of community education. I'd like to invite Ms. Anna Andrews, president of MDTCA, to the podium.
Easy for you to say.
She knows what I meant.
MDCTA, thank you. All right, the You Make the Difference and Shining Star Awards are presented by the Madison District Classified, Certified, and Classroom Teachers Association and Madison Administration to recognize the certified and classified staff who truly demonstrate Madison's vision of inspiring passion for learning and leading in an ever-changing world. All right, and the first award goes to Angela Gord for You Make the Difference. We have watched Mrs. Gord grow her practice at the MTA preschool program over many years, through the challenges of the pandemic, completing her degree, and as she married and had a child of her own. Through hard work, patience, dedication, and curiosity, she has blossomed into the type of teacher that everyone strives to become. She is as virtuous as she is patient. Both caring and resilient, Angela has the strength, commitment, and confidence to walk into a classroom of 23-year-olds each day and teach them the skills they need to thrive. She guides them playfully but planfully through age-appropriate read-alouds, art projects, lessons on social skills, music and movement, beginning work on letters and letter sounds, numbers, name recognition, early writing and cutting skills, and much more. Angela does all of this with a true passion and dedication to her craft. Her knowledge of early childhood development and her genuine interest in each individual child enables her to tailor lessons and the learning environment to meet the needs of all students. Her thoughtful partnership with families helps minimize challenges and sets students up for success. Angela works earnestly with all of her peers, whether they be teachers and aides at the same site or preschool teachers around all Madison campuses. She offers tech support to fellow preschool teachers navigating new computer programs and shares weekly plans and ideas for other pre-K through 3 teachers as they explore the new teacher evaluation system and lesson plan rubric. Angela Gord is one of the best at what she does. Her gentle and positive energy rubs off on anyone who comes in contact with her. She is a role model for not only her students, but for anyone who is able to witness her teach. Mrs. Gord truly makes a difference every day.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good job. Congratulations. Thank you. Over here. Oh, this is the whole thing. All right.
This is just sitting in here, so
Oh,
kind of
that's
hold it
wonderful.
from the top and
Oh,
bottom
top
so it
and
doesn't
bottom.
fall out.
Got it.
And then we'll do most of it. She wants you by yourself.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to introduce your family and say something?
Oh, sure. So I have my family here, my husband Andrew, and this is my daughter Sadie. He's a little shy. She is almost 3 as well, so we're excited for her to be a part of Madison too. Yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you all who nominated me. I love my job. I love what I do, and I really love being a part of Madison. So thank you so much. Thank you. You're all right, you're in trouble now. Oh, we got a step. All done. Good job. Thank you.
Want some mommy back?
I feel that so much. So much. It's my spirit child right there. All right, and next up we have our Shining Star Award recipient, Rachel Gettle. Rachel embodies the kind of dedication and care that transforms a child's school experience. As a special education preschool paraprofessional, she is warm and welcoming to both students and their families, always ready to step in and support wherever she's needed. This past summer, Rachel went above and beyond, spending countless hours with her colleagues, packing an entire classroom to move to a different campus. She then helped set up that classroom, ensuring it was a safe, familiar, and inviting space for students to return. In the classroom, you'll often find her working seamlessly along Mrs. Dolly, the classroom's special education teacher, and her fellow paraprofessional, Luke. Miss Dolly says, "Rachel is amazing because she's always open to learning and gives her best to support me and the students every day. She asks questions if something isn't clear, which I really appreciate. I love seeing her confidence grow as she takes more initiative, and it makes such a difference in our classroom and in our work as a team. Whether she's singing and dancing with a little one or gently guiding a child through big emotions, Rachel brings patience and joy to everything she does. Her hard work and heart make her truly deserving of this recognition."
No wrong answer.
And then. It's my neighbor. And she went to Madison. We should talk. And I go to the.
All right, hold it to the top of the bottom because it's just.
Nice save. I'll just hold this until.
Would you like to introduce anyone or?
My parents are back there, and then the teacher, my teacher Dolly, was there.
Would you like to say anything?
Thanks for coming. I've been enjoying this school year. It's been really fun. It's only September. I keep thinking it's like from a year, but it's only September. I'm really looking forward to this school year. So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to our award winners. It is not necessary for you to hang around. Please feel free to get up and do whatever it is the night holds is in hold for you. So, next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Report. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I want to thank the Madison Simus, Rose Lane, Camelview, and Heights administrators for their presentation of their school integrated action plans today. I also want to thank the Educational Services Department for leading the schools through this process. This deep dive into our school data, areas of strengths and areas of need, will continue to guide our work as we focus on inspiring passion for learning and leading in an ever-changing world. We are hosting an interfaith brunch for all faith-based organizations in our community. This group can be very powerful as we work together to support everyone in Madison. It is scheduled for October 13th from 12 to 1 p.m. Please contact my office here if you're interested in attending. The unveiling of the Cattell Marte Field at Madison Simus Elementary School this week was certainly a highlight. President Thompson and Principal Murray both gave heartfelt remarks highlighting the partnership between the Diamondbacks, the Rams, and the Madison community. Thank you to the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Rams organization and our own facilities department for their hard work in planning of this special event. My favorite part of the evening is when they said, "Play ball." It was very exciting. This weekend, our very own Madison Education Foundation hosted Trivia Night, which was a sold-out event to bring the community together and to fundraise from our school. I heard Deputy Superintendent Barb Marshall's team was the big winners of Trivia Night. And finally, it is hard to believe that we're almost to the end of the quarter. Friendly reminder that fall break is scheduled for the week of October 7th.
Board member reports. Why don't we start with Mr. Holcomb today?
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to congratulate all the participants in the presentations we had this afternoon. We spent several hours with all the principals and assistant principals from the elementary schools, and with going over their challenges, their plans, and goals for this year. And it just underscored the high quality of the administrators, the people that in Madison, not only of them professionally, but of their character. I mean, it was a great group of people, and listening to that, I really have looking forward to this year. We've got a great year ahead of us. I also got to attend the trivia night, and my Kiwanis table was winning until Ms. Marshall and her table pulled out in the last inning. So we were ahead until the last inning, sort of like the D-backs. But it was, and I still want to protest that, but I didn't get that. But yeah, it was a great fundraiser and community builder at the Madison, which, by the way, I want to remind people that season tickets for all of the Madison series, the theater series, the music series, the matinees with the Phoenix Symphony, and all of those are now on sale, and it's a phenomenal season, and it's an opportunity to really take advantage of that, the facility and the community building that goes with it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Ms. Gresham.
Thank you. I don't have much to report. Congratulations to our award winners tonight. And I want to thank the principals for their presentations today. I should have said this while they were here, but they have such an important job. Everything gets harder the older they get. You know, math gets harder, emotional regulation, and they have them at the very beginning of all that where they can lay these foundations. And so just really grateful to all of them because it's such an important time in those students' lives. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Hunt.
Yeah, I'll be brief as well. I want to say, again, congratulations to our award winners. So important to engage young learners, and nobody does it better than our community education department. So congratulations, and thank you for committing your time and talents to this district. I was also at the unveiling of Cattell Marte Field. Great comments from Mrs. Murray. Of course, board president showed off her Spanish skills. Es bilingue. So that was great, but really an iconic night at Simus. That's what I was thinking while I was there, is the generations of folks who've come through that school, who have coached there on those fields, and kind of the legacy setting for all the little kids that were sitting in the grass, amazed by getting to see Cattell Marte and his family. in the future days that they'll be teaching at that school, and they'll be coaching at that school and sending their kids to that school as well. So it was a pretty iconic night. Thanks for making that great. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be brief as well. Thank you and congratulations to our award winners tonight. You with our youngest littles being introduced to our school district. You make such an impression not only on those kids but the families who continue to attend our schools. It makes such a huge difference, and we're greatly appreciative. Also want to thank all of the principals and eval team for the wonderful presentations today, really digging in and understanding what the goals are for each of our elementary schools, similar to the presentations we had 2 weeks ago from our middle schools, is so incredibly meaningful, and just echoing the comments that other board members have made. Next, it was so much fun to be at that field unveiling, not just because Mr. Marte was there. We also had folks from APS who were there who help with these fields, leadership from the Diamondbacks, the organist from the Diamondbacks was there, Gonzo was there for those of us old enough to remember Luis Gonzalez. It was a lot of fun, and it really goes to show that that these fields aren't just meaningful to our community, but it's also meaningful to APS and the Diamondbacks as they commit to showing off in the community. So really wonderful that we could participate in that, and looking forward to that field being used by not only students at Simus, but all the kids for generations who are going to play on that field. Through Rams and other sports as well. Also want to give a shout out to all the schools. I know my kids' school had picture day recently, and I'm sure the rest of the schools are about an hour through those. So any of the parents who are volunteering to help make sure kids look their best on that day are appreciated. And congratulations, Miss Marshall, for your team winning. Tough nuggets, Mr. Holcomb, for coming in second place, but it ain't over till it's over. And look forward to more events coming up as well. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any items to remove from the consent agenda? And if not, is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion made by Mr. Hunt, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting to vote, I'd like to point out on the agenda, we now have all the goals referenced for each of these items, tying it back to our strategic plan, which I think is important. Underscore how the strategic plan, helps dictate all the things that we do here.
Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Holcomb. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is call to the public. Pursuant to board policy, time has been set aside for a call to the public. This is an opportunity for individuals to address the entire board in public setting to express their views or concerns. State law limits our ability to respond to comments made during call to the public. However, we do hear remarks and ask the superintendent to follow up and provide us with information regarding any issues raised. To keep us on schedule, each speaker has no more than 3 minutes to present. Are there any calls to the public today, Ms. Humphries?
You have no calls to public.
There are no calls to the public. Next item on the agenda is information items. Simus Family Assistance Program. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I'd like to invite 3 Simus PATS, the parent-teacher organization, members that chair the family assistance team to the podium. I'd like to introduce Devin Girdner, Lindsay Berglund, and Tina Gonzalez. This organization does more than just support Madison Simus. They support the whole district. And we're going to have them present now.
Thank you all for coming here today, and we so appreciate what you do in support not only of Simus, but the district as a whole.
Good evening, Madam President and board members. Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Guerin, for putting us on tonight's agenda. My name is Tina Gonzalez. I am a volunteer at Simus for the Family Assistance Committee. I have 3 kiddos. 1 goes to Meadows and 2 at Simus.
And I'm Lindsay Berglund. I co-share with Tina for the volunteer role of Family Assistance Committee. And I have a student at Meadows and a student at Simus.
And my name is Devin Girdman. I have 2 kids right now at Madison Simus. This is my first year serving on the Simus PATS board as Community Events Vice President-elect, and Family Assistance is one of the programs that we're so grateful to work with.
Tonight, we want to share some information about family assistance and what that looks like at Simus. Through the whole year, we have the privilege of supporting families that are just in need of a little assistance. They contact us through Simus Pat's website. They fill out a request form. They give information of why they need help and what they need help with. It could be clothing, food, a gas card, cleaning supplies, hygiene supplies, or they just need some connection with the Simus community. Under family assistance, we have a few programs, and the program we're here to talk to you about tonight is the Holiday Helper Program. This is a program that helps families through the holidays, but it's not only Simus families, it's all of the families through, not all the families, but our Madison school families at all the schools. But right now, it's solely funded from Simus. And the way that this works is we reach out to all the social workers at the schools. We send them an application. They reached out to their families that know are in need. They fill out the request form. If the families need help to fill out the request form, the social worker will help them do that. Another way to access the request form is, again, through Simus Pat's website.
Okay, so the form that you're looking at, I gotta click. Oh, I'm talking. Sorry, I didn't realize that. So the form that you're currently looking at is Holiday Helping. We call them Snow Pals at Simus. At the bottom, it says the request form, and Tina and I will go through and look through all the requests that the families make and write them on there and hand them out to the elementary kids at Simus and also the preschool kids at Simus. At the top, it gives a brief description to the parents of what they need to do with the snowplow and when to bring it back to campus. When they bring back the present, we ask them to have the tag attached to it so we can keep everything organized and it'll make it easier. When we have them bring in the presents, then we have our wonderful volunteers come and transport all those gifts to a secure location, where then we go through and we have to make bins for every single family that we have. And after that, we look at the list and make sure that everything is pretty equal between all the families. If there's more need, we will go out shopping with the money from Family Assistance Committee or by donations of gift cards from the Simus family members and buy those means that those people need. This is an example of what the holiday helping request form looks like from one of the schools. As you can see, there are a lot of students in this one family. There's a lot of kids in this one family. There's 7 of them. We help out birth to high school. We help out all the schools, and you only need 1 student to attend any of our Madison school districts to provide for the whole family. There's another example of another family that we had from last year that had some younger kids in the version. So what we are trying to say is we feel like we have a really strong team at Simus right now of volunteers. There's parents that come out and help us with everything. The biggest thing is we do not have a lot of funding to help provide all these gifts for the children during this holiday season. We had 2 years ago 29 families that we were able to assist, which is wonderful. Last year we had 46 families, which was a total of 138 students. And then at the end we had to turn down some students because we did not have the funding to help them out. But we would love to help them out. So that's why we're asking help from you guys and then also from other schools in the district that we could possibly ask for more financial aid from.
Yeah, so just going off of what Lindsay said, some challenges and opportunities for growth. We have seen so much growth in this program since it started that we anticipate it getting bigger this year, and we still have the same budget as we had last year and the year before. We have limited funding sources. Most of the funding comes from our parent-teacher organization, and sometimes we get donations from families who give gift cards. We are applying for grants. Last year we got a grant through Sprouts. This year we're applying through one through Walmart. I'm just hoping we get that. And then the other problem we're facing is we get increasing requests for household essentials. So a lot of families ask for laundry detergent, linen, blankets, sheets, and we're happy to support, but that takes a lot of our budget. So ways that we're hoping you guys can collaborate with us, and we're open to any ideas. Hopefully we can get increased funding so that we can continue this program. We're open to pursuing grants and community partnerships. Dr. Guerin already spoke with us about attending the Interfaith Luncheon in October and a PTO luncheon in November that we're really excited about going to speak with them. And we also we're open to different ways to expand the donation. We have a QR code. We have a QR code from our PATS program that we think we could implement in a lot of places and people would be open to giving. And we're just really grateful that you guys gave us this opportunity to speak. I don't know if anyone knew about this program, so we're grateful to present it to you guys. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that presentation. I think that many of us didn't know about this program, or at least know that it was available to families across the district, and we're so grateful for Simus's generosity in doing that for so many years. But I think that speaking as a parent who was involved in one of the PTOs for some time, I'm sure as the other PTOs learn about this, they'll be willing to help lean in, and if it's, help buy gifts or provide funding or any of those things, I'm sure that during the holidays, people will be willing to help with that. Mr. Holcomb.
Yes, and I also want to thank you on multiple levels. When I first started on the board, all the parent-teacher organizations were sort of separate, and each of the schools were sort of siloed. And it's been very rewarding to see how all the parent-teacher organizations have come together to help each other and work together to build a community. Also, thank you for doing this type of community support for families, because not only is it rewarding for you, but it's a great model for the kids at the schools and for your own kids. And that's worth a great deal as well. I would encourage you too, my Kiwanis Club works with groups like this as well and supports Madison. So I'd like it if you'd send me information about that. We can look at that and maybe even have you come to one of the Kiwanis meetings to get funding. And the last thing is, if you wanted to use a Santa Claus, I know a guy. So just saying, and he's always looking for work, I can tell you. But any event, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more question.
Sorry,
Ms.
I have
Gresham?
a quick question. And yes, thank you for doing this program. Yeah, I don't think we knew about this. Somebody mentioned it at the last PTO luncheon, which is great. We occasionally have PTOs share with other schools. As you know, not all our PTOs have the same parent involvement and funding. So anyway, thank you for doing this. I was curious, do you guys keep this as a separate, is this a separate funding account that you use, or is this coming from the PATS, like general fund? How does that work?
So, Simus has their fundraiser. A certain amount of that fundraiser money goes towards the Family Assistance Program. That's our whole budget for family assistance for the whole year, and all of the holiday helper comes out of that budget. So that's why with those numbers of those kids getting so large, and we still want to be able to assist our families through the whole year if they need help, why it's just like why we need money for the holiday helpers to
So that's for your year-round funding as well?
Yes.
one account.
As well as the
Yeah.
holiday helpers. And then the holiday helpers is you can donate money or gift cards, and you can also do the like adopt a family type
snowplow.
thing and the snowplow.
The snowplow goes home with every student, so our Tina and Lindsay write down all the needs from the social workers, and each student gets an item, and then the families, our community, brings in to supply those items, which is amazing. You should see the pictures. It's wild how much our community supports this program, and it's unfortunate it's still not enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for doing this. And I think, yeah, again, if you were to, if we were to open that up to the other schools, I'm sure there are families who would be willing to contribute. I feel like, doesn't the district office does something similar, right? they do a holiday thing, but that's just the district office separately, so.
Yes, Board Member Gresham, we did actually, I let them know as well, because sometimes we have only a certain amount of families we adopt, and then we run out of, people are still looking to give gifts, and there isn't gifts left, so
That's
we're trying to create some partnerships between these different organizations.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, it definitely, I mean, like you said, we don't want to have to turn anyone away, so. Okay, that's all, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming this evening, and we're looking forward to partnering with you even more.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Next item on the agenda is parent survey results. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, as you know, we have our annual parent survey, and I'm happy to turn it over to Deputy Superintendent Barb Marshall to introduce this item.
Thank you, President Thompson, members of the board, members of cabinet, and guests. As Member Holcomb alluded to earlier, our strategic plan, one of our focus areas is community strength. We just saw a great example of that with the Simus PATS organization. Another example of the community strength is listening to the feedback from our families to help strengthen our schools. So we have the annual parent survey, and tonight our Director for Research and Evaluation will share the overall district results. I know through the school improvement sessions, you've heard the individual principals talk about their analysis for their school data, and this will be the broad overview of the district as a whole.
Welcome, Mr. Pienkowski.
President Thompson, members of the board, Dr. Guerin, members of cabinet, community members, thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. Today I'll be reviewing the 2024-2025 family survey results. We'll get into it rather quickly with our response rates over time. If you look at the top column header, 2024-2025, EOY stands for end of year. We'll be discarding that nomenclature going into the next year as we're moving out of we're moving into just doing those end of the year surveys. Previously, during some of our interrupted learning sessions, we had beginning and middle of the year surveys, which we wanted to delineate that for you. You'll see the overall responses, 1,975 responses. Not all of those are complete responses, but a vast majority of them are complete responses. And then we had 66 Spanish versions responses this year for 2024-2025. We opened that survey on April 17th, which is right after we wrapped things up with our state assessment season. And then we closed it on May 27th, which was a few days after the school year ended, just in time to turn that around, partition it out for the 8 schools as well as community education, and ship those results off to them so they can be in the analysis process with their school improvement teams and their leadership teams to look at what families are saying about that most recent school year. Going into some of the primary questions that we look at every year to see how things are changing over time. We ask the same question probably for about 25 years now. I feel my child is safe at school. And we have 47% of the respondents choosing strongly agree in the 2024-2005 school year. You could see that trend going from left to right, increasing steadily over the course of time, where families are still feeling a majority in that top box, with 90% feeling they're in the agree area with their child feeling safe at school. And we'll get into some of the potential reasons around that in the future. Thinking about some of our distribution issues, you may have recalled that we did run into some distribution issues during the course of last year where our correspondences with families and requests for them were going into some spam folders in different ways. So we are partnering with SurveyMonkey, the tool that we use for that, as well as Hanover Research to look for some different avenues to circumvent that spam issue or that blocking issue so that we can more effectively contact families immediately in that system. And so hopefully we'll see even stronger results and feedback going into the next year. But these are some of the highest scores related to this particular question area going forward. I would recommend my child's school to another. That's something that we actually mentioned earlier during the school improvement sessions, where we also have one of our highest agreement scores with families who participated in the survey. I'll direct your attention to some negativity really quick. When we look at the bottom column, neither agree nor disagree, strongly disagree or disagree, we get about 11% of those families. What we went through is paired them up with some of their different responses throughout the survey, as well as some of their open comments, some common themes for those folks who weren't excited to recommend. That was related to communication. It was related to student supports or inactive student supports, as well as inconsistent adult interactions that they had, as well as some concerns about mathematics and ELA processes. So those are some of the results that we're going to start tracking over a longitudinal time to feed into the schools for their school improvement sessions, so we can not just celebrate those top box accomplishments where we're seeing a vast majority of our population having favorable perceptions of our schools, but then also targeting the needs of some of those other folks who aren't quite as favorable. And then overall, I'm satisfied with my child's academic progress. We saw 51% of our respondents say strongly agree, which was about 903 of those respondents at that time. And last question we give this result is I'd give my child's district the following grade, and 72% rated us as an A school. And only 6% gave us potential remediation services with CDRE. This is the new part of the parent survey that we organized and sent out this coming year, or this past year, and we look to continue it for this current year. We partner with Hanover Research to help identify common questions that might help us better understand why Madison, why folks are picking Madison. The general response, each participant had the option to select multiple responses up to 5, so that we can start to see if there are certain items that push to the top, certain items that push to the middle, and certain items that weren't quite on their radar as much. The number one response that came up and bubbled for every school and the district-wide was reputation of the school as a whole. That was a very common item that came about for our respondents, is that reputation for the school as a whole is very important to their selection. We did see a little bit of variation and difference between non-open enrollment students and within school district, or within district enrollment students, where within districts had a slightly more favorable, or no, resident enrollment participants rated as slightly higher than open boundary open enrollment in boundary folks. Gosh, that was horrible. So resident enrollments scored reputation higher than open enrollment in boundary. So folks who lived within the district that were going to a different school that isn't their boundary location school scored a slightly lower than folks who lived within the district and went to that particular school. That's a little bit clearer. Thank you. School culture and environment was another top item that bubbled to the top, as far as being a very favorable response as to why families chose that particular school, and K4 was much more prevalent, or more frequently bubbled to the top than it did with middle schools. Signature programs also was a group 1 score as far as being prevalent. When we asked that, we did tailor that to the particular signature program at the school. So Rose Lane families were asked about the Fine Arts program. MTA families were asked about the Traditional Academy signature program. Madison number 1, we asked about their programs. And so when we looked at signature programs at a district level, we looked at, did you select a signature program as one of your top responses? And they did. And then the fourth one that bubbled to the top and kind of distanced itself from the other group was academic achievements and expectations. And that one bubbled to the top without a doubt, was frequently where we have that perception and reputation of Madison being something where they're often choosing what's happening. We did start to see some nuances between resident enrollment, as I alluded to before, open enrollment, non-boundary students, and then open enrollment in boundary students, where reputation was almost always their number 1, but sometimes proximity to home also bubbled up, obviously probably for the resident enrollment folks, but that also proximity to home bubbled up to a top answer for open enrollment in boundary folks. So they said they still wanted to go to our school, even though it wasn't the one that was in their neighborhood, because it was still convenient for them. But expectations was always in the top box for those schools, regardless of what their open enrollment status was. In general, title schools tended to have more diversity of answers and variability of answers. So they had maybe a flatter distribution of Y Madisons, whereas non-title schools had more spikes, higher spikes in what their general answers were. Group 2, teacher qualifications and experience, proximity at home, also was popular for certain types of families. And then school security and safety issues made it into that second tier of responses. Another question that we added on, also in conjunction with Hanover Research as well as Student Services, and then also with Ms. McPherson, where we asked families about human growth and development sessions related to students who are going into 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade for this current year. And we asked them what their perception of what that session would be, what they would like about it, what information and supports they would like to engage in a potential session related to human growth and development. We had quite a few interested families who were in that bracket of going into grade 5, 6, 7, or 8. Who are very interested or interested, and even neutral, although that neutral number is 36%. I can generalize it to being, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking me to participate in, yeah, so maybe I'm interested in it, tell me a little bit more. And as we go along through the survey, you'll see that start to happen with, would you be interested in receiving resources or continue discussions at home? Quite a few of our parents were interested in that information at home, as well as being informed about what those programs might be about ahead of time. So they wanted to get that communication, process that, and then make a decision about how they would engage in those sessions and programs going forward. Quite a few were interested in virtual sessions as well as live and in-person sessions, and then even recorded sessions where they'd have some more flexibility on engaging in that learning opportunity for their family. And then we saw evening sessions, and then sessions immediately after schools being more prominent as far as choices for when those sessions might be occurred if they were going to attend or view those sessions. And then lastly, we asked them about what types of sessions might be of interest to them. There's quite a bit of interest in various different sessions that were available, and you can see what some of those top ones are, as well as some other ones that were of interest to folks as they selected those sessions that they would be interested in engaging. Lastly, we always go through and review the comments because people take time to type out those comments and write those comments. We always go through, and all of our principals and leaders read through those comments. Leadership teams at the sites read through those comments. Folks at the district office read through those comments. And we try and take those comments, get general perceptions on it, positive, negative. Is it a glow? Is it a grow? Just because somebody is saying they want something improved doesn't necessarily mean they're dissatisfied. They're just saying maybe you're ready for the next step for an improvement. So we took some of those, we took all of those comments and kind of organized them into different themes to talk about what some of those general themes were and how we might address them going forward. One of the top themes that came about was academic and student supports, where some of our folks praised individual people for supports and said, this person's really giving me some supports, or that's giving me some supports, but then they also saw some gaps that were available to their student or to some other students, and so they felt it was a little bit of sometimes I'm getting what I need and sometimes I'm getting what I don't quite need. Curriculum quality and design, that was related to some gaps in there where they were looking for maybe some more rigorous interactions with what it was or the types of materials that they were engaging in, whether it's worksheets or some stuff that's maybe not as cognitively engaging as they were hoping to see. But they did see that there was quite a few resources out there that were available to their students, but it was a frequent topic that came up. Teacher performance was also another theme that bubbled up, where there was individual teachers often called out and praised for celebrations, but then a vague allusion to some other folks not quite having some of those same appreciations. But in general, it was a relatively equal distribution of comments about those folks. Something I should note is that although we had close to 2,000 responses, we had about maybe 450 comment results. So this is, again, a smaller portion of a smaller portion of a smaller portion. School safety came up as another top comment theme, where they really appreciated a lot of the safety measures that were available, and there was some concerns, which is somewhat universal, especially in some of the older grade levels, with some bullying situations that are happening, which I think relates to that one comment that we talked about before about being safe at school. Bullying is a big topic throughout the nation, without a doubt. And then school administration practices was a comment where some site leaders are engaged, or some OPFA staffs and site leaders are engaged, but then sometimes the flow of communication be inconsistent and some clarity may not be existing. One thing that we did notice is that some of the more likely folks to give a grow comment, something that could be improved, were 5th and 7th grade families. Who are open enrollment in district families, who are returning families, so they weren't new to the district, they were somebody who's been here for a while. If you rated us as an A school, your GLOW, your positivity comment was a 2-to-1 ratio, GLOW to grow. And if you rated us as a B school, your ratio was 4-to-1 grow to GLOW. So you were still thinking we're pretty good. You're giving us a B, but you had some good feedback that you wanted some things to improve, which is always great. And then if we think about that going forward, we had some other themes that popped up. School communication platforms, with just the sheer number of communication platforms that are available. And I know we have tons of plans in place to narrow down our communication plan. So that's definitely something that's on our agenda. It kind of bubbles up in 3 or 4 different ways. So I'm really excited to know that we have a great plan in place at the district to help streamline communication platforms. A couple comments came up about gifted education programs and some unevenness and expectations that were available on there. And I know that we have Ms. Warner, who's diving in this year, new to Madison, under the gifted education program. She's got a 1-day plan, a 2-week plan, a 3-month plan, a 3-year plan. She's fabulous and has a lot of great ideas on how we can improve that process, as well as teacher communication issues bubbling up about how that communication's coming out from teachers back and forth. I think we just talked about that during the school improvement sessions with that, and we have a plan in place to address those communication issues and the consistency of that communication. We had some more comments about homework policies. This was a Goldilocks type of comment where it was like, I want more homework, I want less homework, I want harder homework, I want easier homework. It kind of went all over the place depending on the school and situation. So each school has the ability to dive into that and see what their families are hearing about those homework policies. And then the last group of comments that we talked about was school community comments, almost in general, very positive school community comments. Those did probably bubble up to the 3rd tier as far as common comment themes, but they're almost all talking about being very welcoming and supporting communities, and really felt comfortable there. Extracurricular activities and volunteer programs was also a common theme that came about, oftentimes talking about some limited access to the ability to do some of those things and maybe some more options and available for folks to volunteer. And then lastly, language and foreign language education, some very positive things to say about that, as well as some areas for growth for Madison, where they wanted more options for language programs, different options for language programs, maybe some more rigorous language programs, or they thought the program they were in was great. So kind of teeter-totter depending on where the location was, but that was also a common theme for the open comments. Oh, that wasn't the last one. Grading policies, another one that was some inconsistent grading entry, unclear about how those methods were coming about, and a lack of communication about missing work or assignments. Educational use was another theme that came about as far as using different digital tools in the classroom and what are some of the best approaches to balancing technology and direct instruction. School leadership quality was another theme that came about, and with that school leadership quality, they recognized quite a few superior leaders within the district, and we're happy to leave comments about that. And then lastly, parent communication practices. Again, that's probably a 3rd theme that came about from communication, one from a big picture level, one from a teacher level, and now just how do parents gain and access to information. This is the 3rd one that came about with unclear messaging about what needed to happen. So a lot of these items that have come up as far as being an open comment theme are items that we're very hot on and we're addressing. in what we're doing on a regular school year improvement planning process. Any questions?
That was an impressive amount of information to get through. Thank you, Mr. Pankowski. Questions from the board? Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah, I have a question on, and I get to use one of my education words. Were you able to disaggregate the data on the signature programs? I mean, how you said there were generally positive comments about the signature programs. Did any of them stand out, or were it all fairly even across? And I know they'll have different, because different people will be answering for different signature programs, but was there anything you could glean from that information?
Like, just so I understand the question, did certain signature programs separate themselves from other signature programs?
Yes, I mean, was it, the performing arts was very high, maybe STEAM was less, or Spanish, or if there was any meaningful trends or anything you get from that, other than people liked them?
They were pretty consistent across the board. SIMUS had more comments than Camelview related to their signature program, because there's about twice as many folks who go there, so higher response rate in that situation. So percentage-wise, it was relatively consistent across the signature programs at that site as far as their appreciation was. It was pretty consistent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions from the board? No, I don't have any questions. Just thank you for your presentation, and thank you all for putting this out to our community, to our families. And so it's, always good information, and we do actually, use these. So please fill them out every time you see them.
Ms. Gresham, and to that point, thank you, Mr. Pankowski. Dr. Guerin, I have gotten some phone calls about what will come of the responses to that human growth and development part of the survey. I wonder if you can just share next steps for the district.
Absolutely, President Thompson. So there was enough interest to move forward. We're looking at an outside of the school day program so that families can opt in for that choice. So Ms. Marshall and her team are looking at options. There's a ton of statutory requirements regarding bringing this type of program to Madison, so we will begin to navigate that, but we will continue to communicate. We've had some significant interest in the programs, and people that want to get involved and participate, we will certainly have opportunities to do that.
Thank you. Okay, no other questions or comments. Thank you, Mr. Pankowski.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, law conference and delegate assembly review. Mr. Hunt.
Yes, so from September 3rd through the 5th, everybody on the board, as well as much of the administration, attended the ASBA, Arizona School Board Association Law Conference. It was my first law conference, and I think it was incredibly informative, really learned a lot. It was titled Liberty Law and Learning How the American Legal System Shapes Our Schools. As a non-lawyer, it was a little terrifying of a title. But the things that I found particularly helpful, one, there was a pre-law or a pre-conference day where they really just focused on school safety. They had various speakers talking about various components of school safety. I think for me, it really reinforced the need for social workers and counselors as a key component to a school safety system, as well as, of course, school resource officers, but the really important role of social workers and counselors and informed and educated teachers, which we have here in Madison, watching over our students in our schools. Additionally, I found it incredibly helpful to hear about the executive orders coming out of the executive branch and the impact those do and do not have on schools. That was incredibly helpful to me, as well as we kind of navigate that new environment currently. The final day was the delegate assembly, where we voted on the legislative political agenda for the year. It's a public document. You can find it on the ASBA website if you're interested to see any of the priorities that were identified as part of that delegate assembly. And that's all that I have. The other delegate, or the alternate delegate, there we go, was Mr. Holcomb. I don't know if he has any comments.
Yeah, no, I appreciated being the alternate. An alternate means that I serve no purpose. But you did a fine job. You didn't embarrass us at all,
There
which
you
is
go.
good.
Low bar for success.
No, but the biggest issue about the delegate assembly was their technology did not work at all, and
Again.
but it is a good opportunity to bring all the districts together and discuss some of these issues that are going. ASB legislative policy document really does try to anticipate based on what issues may come before the legislature and give direction to the Arizona School Boards Association as to how to respond to those on the fly. And so it is an important document. I wish it was a little bit more directed and a little more proactive, but it is an important process, if nothing else, to go through and educate school board members and also get all their views. Just like the parent survey, this is the best way to get the input from all the schools, districts across the state, which a number of times have very varying issues and interests.
And that is actually one thing that I will add. I was prepared for an incredibly divisive, environment because you have school boards from around the state, a variety of different perspectives that folks bring to the table, and I did not witness that at all. But certainly, I don't know different folks' perspectives on different issues, but everybody engaged in a really respectful way, a really productive way, from the panelists to the audience to the conversations in the hallway between panels, and that, in again the incredibly divisive political environment that we live in today, it was really nice to see leaders just going to learn and trying to navigate things for their local schools.
Thank you for that. I also want to add that, your comments about school safety and how important the counselors and social workers that we have are really to the root of that. It was about identifying students and kiddos who need help early and getting them that help early so that they can remain productive members of their community and not pose any threats to the community. So it's not just social workers and counselors for the sake of social workers and counselors, but really goes to reinforce that the work that we do educating the whole child with social and emotional growth is really fundamental to making sure that those students can be upstanding characters within their community. So thank you for bringing that one up. The other issue that I'd also highlight, in addition to the items that were brought up, is just all of the issues that were surrounding either budget from the federal side or from the state side. I think somebody brought up the fact that we have school safety grants. Not everyone might get a grant. School safety is something that we have to compete for. And when you ask the superintendent's office, state superintendent's office, how much will there be next year? It's unknown because it's something that has to go to the legislature. And I think there were multiple folks from around the state who really echoed that school safety should be a necessity, not an option. So thank you, Mr. Hunt and Mr. Holcomb, for representing us in that terribly exciting day battling with technology in order to get the votes done, but really appreciate you. Hearing no other comments, let's move on to future meetings. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, the board has put in a lot of hours in September, so we had 2 study sessions, and they were quite worthwhile. October, we do not have any study sessions scheduled. Our first meeting in October is the 14th, and we will, Assistant Superintendent Scott Thompson has invited a demographer to come talk about a demographic study of the state of Arizona with the low birth rate, school competition, all of the things that are impacting. That demographer will then come back after studying Madison data and report on that as well. We will also have the annual financial report at the next board meeting. And then on the 28th, it will be time for me to work on my superintendent goals with you. In addition, we'll have a bond and override report, and the ASBA is asking us to look at their bylaws, so we'll be doing some work around that as well.
And then no school showcase at the next meeting, no awards? Am I reading?
It's
No, Park's
Park.
on the 28th,
Park is on the 28th.
but not on the 14th. Nothing on the 14th? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm reading this correctly. Thank you. Excited for that. Any questions or comments for Dr. Guerin? Hearing none. That's the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
I second we moved.
Mr. Motion made by Mr. Hunt, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Meeting's adjourned.